All right, here we are. Guitar doesn't look exactly like it did in that last video. I feel that you learn more from your mistakes than you do from your successes, so I should share my really dumb mistakes. And this is what happens when you get impatient and in a hurry. Big mistake. I knew it when I was doing it. And in some cases, this would be catastrophic. But in my case, probably not so much. Either way, after the last video, when I had all the springs on, everything adjusted, I was doing final adjustments. I think I was tightening up the spring claw a little bit. And playing and strumming and listening to the springs, I could really hear the springs more than I ever had on this guitar. And while I was playing, this happened. The pickup dropped down. And I'm sure some of you have had this happen before. I think it's probably more on vintage Strats, because Fender used these short screws, and they changed the springs instead of the rubber grommets at one point. And these screws, to get the 1/8 inch clearance between the bottom of the Big E and the top of the magnet, which I like to do, keeps it from getting what they call stratitis, where your intonation doesn't go and it actually hinders the sustain of the string, the magnetic pull. So you have to get this at least 1/8 of an inch away. For me to do that on this guitar, the pickup is pretty much flush with the pick guard. So it had dropped down, and I'm going, dang it, I have it all strung up, just, it was in perfect shape. So here's the dumb move, and don't do this. I was in a hurry. I didn't want to take the strings off again and take the pick guard off and fix it properly. So I started doing this crap, trying to lift it up. And some of you have probably tried this crazy trick before. And, trying to get the screw back in the hole so I could finish what I was doing. And then, I tried to get something that was metal, which I don't have right here, but I, try to pick it up with something like this to get it in there. Nothing would work. And sometimes you still have to take the strings apart. You can put some duct tape on there and pull it up. Anyway, I was in a hurry, and I started with this stupid screwdriver. And I was being careful because, the pickup cover does cover the wire, and I still have no clue how I did it. But let's look to see what I did here. So this is the bass side that fell down. So I was pretty much probing along here. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bit of a separation on the wire right about there. Can you see it? And I said, surely that can't be the problem. The rest of all the wire everywhere else looks good. This is the enamel wire. These are dated 5. Handwritten date on here. Boy, it's pretty hard to read, but it looks like May 17th, 1966, something like that. Either way, it was. I put it back together once I got the screw in there. I did get the screw in there, and turned it on. And it had the worst chinky, tinny AM radio sound you've ever heard. And I said, no, tell me that's not true, please. So to double check, and I'll show you, just to make sure, you can take your meter and just check the impedance on these things. And I don't have the right probes on here. Let's see. Just touch them where the wires connect. And you can see I'm at 300 mega. Oh, that's mega. I thought it was kilo. No, it is. All right. 305,000 ohms. 3.5 or 305K. And then here's a good pickup. 5.7 ohm, 5.7K. That one's 5.7K. And this one, I think this one's 5.8, 5.85K. So when you see this 305K, you know the wire's broken. Darn it. Sorry about that. But anyway, that's the bad news. The good news is it's repairable. For me, the bad news was that, you're going to have to rewind it. And you never know. I mean, I'm actually going to send it to Aaron at Rumpelstiltskin, because he's about the only one I know that can do this stuff. But I'm sure millions of them out there, but I've been dealing with him for years now, and he's a great guy. So he said, yeah, I can fix that. What I can probably do is just take off as many wraps as I have to get to the break and patch it up. At how you solder a hair-thin wire, I have no clue. But he's done it, and he says he can do it. So you really don't lose the rest of the wind. You just have to fix that one spot. And also, I don't know. It might even sound good with a little bit less wind on there. You know, they do the low wind pickups. And I might even mention that. If it's not that many winds, maybe just leave it. Just get to the good wire. Anyway, we'll see. But for now, thank goodness, which I'm getting ready to do right now, I have this set of Lawler pickups from my Nash. There's the neck, 2012 Lawlers. These are flat pole. So the good thing about that is, I can probably raise it up a little bit so that I'm not at the end of my threads on my height screw. And the other thing Aaron's going to do at Rumpelstiltskin is send me a longer screw, which I think all my other Strats have the longer screws in them. I'm sure all the newer Strats have longer screws. It's just these vintage ones, they had short screws that were too short. They didn't expect people to lower the pickups that much. But either way, that's it. Live and learn. It's not the end of the world. Yesterday I thought it was, but it'll be okay. Like I said, I'm never selling this guitar. And you can see, look at this finish. To me, this thing looks factory, Not that I'm an expert or anything, but it just looks like a factory finish. The original finish. And they just didn't really care about thickness back then in 66, I'm thinking this was probably finished in 66 or late 65. Probably around May of 66 were the dates of the pickups. Either way, that's it. Big mistake, but I always look to the positive. It'll sound better when it's all over. All right, we're getting there. Turns out I had some longer screws, probably some that Aaron sent me years ago, and I just found them. These ground wires are probably the most difficult part. I still got to solder this to the switch, but I'll tell you what, I might leave it like this. These Lawler pickups are are nice. I just was trying to stay vintage correct with the vintage left-handed stagger and everything on my left-handed Strat. But this thing might just stay there for who knows how long. All right, I got it in there. Everything, I haven't put the screws in yet. But I put a little short cord in there just to double check. That's the middle pickup, 5.74. This is the Lawler neck, 5.71. So, I mean, I don't know if it makes any difference that they're close, but it's kind of interesting. So, and I got to check, I did a really poor job on the grounds, but they're together. I just, it was kind of temporary, which may have been not a good idea, but it'll work. 5.8 on the bridge, 5.7 in the middle, 5.7 on the neck, and then these are the in-between. All right, here's the last little interesting part of this whole dilemma. I got to do it again. So what happened is I got my Strat all wired up, went in and played it, and I didn't have the in-between position here. It was real thin, tinny sounding. One thing I forgot about is magnet polarity and the wiring polarity. So, let's see if you can see this. Red is north. You can see all these pickups are, the top is north pole and the bottom is south pole. So that was good. It checked out. Then I checked the, you see how it flipped over when I went from here to here? Red, now it's white over here. The Lawler middle pickup is south. And then it goes back to north on the bridge. And then my damaged pickup is north. But what I have to do is, I wired it like normal with the black ground wire to the pot, the volume pot, and the white wire to the switch. I just have to reverse those, and I'll get my in position. What happened was I didn't have this in between position. What happened was I didn't have this so all I have to do is switch the wires, and I'll get my in between position back. It's just something that you have to keep in mind when you start mixing and matching different pickup sets. Either way, that's it. Big mistake, but I always look to the positive. It'll sound better when it's all over. I'll talk to you guys later.